Okay, so actually we discussed today a number line. A number line is a linear line having a number, real number represented on this. We have 0 on the right side, we have greater value. For example, a positive value. On the left side, we have a negative value. On the left side of 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is -1, -2, -3. And remember, in between two integers, there are infinite fractions, right? Okay, if I say that if I want to represent x is greater than y on the number line, how can I represent? There are possible 3 scenarios. If I consider both of these are positive, so both of these must be on the right side. And as we already know that the right side is always greater than left side. And if x is greater than y, that's why this will be x and this will be y, considering both of these are positive. The other thing is, if I consider both as negative, so how can I represent that? This will become x and this will become y. And the third scenario is in which if I consider one as negative and one is positive, so this is x and this is y. This is a usual representation of any variable, relationship between two variables on a number line. Okay, so one more thing, and usually a person commit mistake in that. For example, if I have a number 2 and this is 7, let's suppose this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So what are the value for A, B, C, and D? Can anyone tell, just based on what I told earlier? What is the value of A? What is the value of B, C, D? Anyone?
A is the 3, B is the 4, C is the 5, D is the 6.
Okay, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. And here you make a common mistake. I never said that these are equally spaced. If I say that these are equally spaced, then you can assume that this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6. Unless I clearly state that each of tick is a common space. For if I say that there's an equal distance between each two ticks, then you can say that this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6. And if the question had not mentioned this, you can never assume this, right? This is a pretty common type of question. Okay, for example, if I have this in 3. So if I ask this is A, this is B, this is C, how can I find the distance between each of these, assuming that all of these are equally spaced? How can I find the distance between each of these two ticks? Anyone?
0.25. If these are equally distant, then 0.25, 0.75, 0.75.
Yes, for I assume that these are equally spaced, right? So let's call this x, this is x, this is x, and this is x. So 2 plus x plus x plus 4x is equal to 3, and 4x is equal to 3 minus 2, and x is equal to 1 by 4, right? And we can also do this quickly. What is the maximum value of 3, minimum value of 2, and divide by what are the ranges between 1, 2, 3, and 4? That is directly 1 by 4, right? Shall I proceed
Right.
forward? Just keep in mind that the question should mention that these are equally spaced. Otherwise, you cannot solve this way. You cannot assume any value for A, B, and C in this case. Okay. For example, if I ask you that distance between x and y is 4, and distance between y and z is 3. So I ask, what is the distance between x and z? And this is a number line. If I ask you that distance between x and y on number line is 4, and the distance between y and z on the number line is 3. So can I find distance between x and z on number line? What will be the distance?
Maybe 1.
Maybe 1.
Okay, so let's see different scenarios. We never mentioned that x is greater or y is greater, so we can shuffle the places as well. This is, let's suppose this is x and this is y. The distance between them is what? That is 4. And y and z is 3. Now the point is, I can take z on both directions. Either z could be on the right side of y or on the left side of y. If I take on the right side of y, and the distance between y and z is 3. So in that scenario, the distance between x and z will be 7. Likewise, if I take z on the left side of y, and that will be somewhere here, and distance is 3. In that case, the distance between x and y will be 1, right? So just keep in mind these two scenarios. So in this scenario, we cannot determine unless there are some more conditions. Got the point?
Can you please repeat it again?
I just said that, I quickly repeat that. For example, if I have a number line, and if I said the x is 4 units away from y, right? First of all, I never said that whether x is greater or y is greater. So I can do either this way, x and y. I can also do this way, that this is x and this is y. Doesn't matter because the distance between them is 4, first thing. And the second thing is, I said that the distance between y and z is 3. Now, again, I don't mention the relation between y and z, whether z is greater than y or z is less than y. So z could be in this direction and z could be in this direction. I just told you that distance between these two is 3. Either this or either this. In both of scenario, this is possible. So in first scenario, the distance between x and z will be 4 plus 3, 7. But in other scenario, the distance between x and z will be 1. So that's why we cannot tell that whether what is the exact distance between x and z, because there are two possible scenarios. That could be 7 and that could be 1. Got the point?
Yep.
Okay, so let's quickly move to the question. So now tell what is the answer for this. It's just the same question, same concept we discuss right now. Okay, so what's the answer for this?
D.
Okay, so one answer is D. Any other answer?
A.
A. Okay. Now you have to see closely. It is on a number line. The distance between A and B is 4. We have a number line. Again, there is no relation between A and B in terms of the absolute distance value, that whether A is greater or B is greater. So we can take A, B on both sides, doesn't matter. So let's suppose this is A, this is B, and the distance between A and B is 4, first thing. Second thing is the distance between B and C is 5. So now there could be two scenarios. If consider the first scenario, distance between B and C is 5, C could be in this direction and distance is 5, right? So in this scenario, the question asks the distance between A and C, that is 5 plus 4, 9. In that case, quantity, both of these are equal. But in the other scenario, if this is B, this is A, and distance between them is 4, and the question is saying that the distance between B and C is 5. So C, if we consider C on the other side, for this to be 5, the value of the distance between A to C is 1. So in this scenario, B is greater. That's why we cannot determine whether quantity A is greater or B is greater. That's why the answer is D. Got the point? Just keep one more thing in mind, that the question clearly states that on the number line, and if the question don't say that this is a number line, then you can assume in any direction But in this question, we are restricted to a number line. So just think of that as well. Okay, shall we move forward?
Yes.
So one more quick question. What is the answer to this?
Same. Answer C.
D.
Okay, so someone is saying C and someone is saying D. The answer to this question is D. Let's see how. The question that on the number line, we have a number line. The distance between x and 0 is 3. For example, this is 0. And the distance between x and 0, if x is on this side, this could be 3. And if x is on the negative side, this could be 3. Right? So both are possible scenarios in this at x. Now the question is saying the distance between x and 2. If I consider two scenarios differently, in first scenario, this is 0 and this is x, and distance between them is 3. That's why in this scenario, x is equal to 3. And question is saying distance between x and 2. If this is 2, what is the distance between them? That is 1. So in first scenario, the answer is 1 of quantity A. In second scenario, this is 0 and this is x. Distance between them is 3. So this x will be equal to -3. And a question is saying the distance between x and 2. So on the right side, we have 2. What is the distance between them? That will be 3 plus 2, which is equal to 5. That's why the answer to this is D. And remember one thing, distance is absolute quantity. It is always positive, right?
Yes, distance
Keep
is
this
always
in mind.
positive.
Distance is always positive. And I will again clarify one thing, that it is mentioned here that it is on number line. If it is not mentioned, then for example, if the question says that the distance between A and B is 2, right? So actually this could be in any direction. It's actually a circle with a radius too, right? So just keep in mind, we are restricted for time being to number line. Okay. Okay, try this question.
D.
Okay,
D.
so answer to this is D. Any other answer?
D.
D. Okay. So we have a number line, and the question states that P is between -3 and -2. This is -3. This is -2. P is somewhere in between. Okay, we have a number line, and P is somewhere between -3 and -2. Okay, P is somewhere between, and Q is between -1 and 0. We have -1 and 0. Q is somewhere here, and R is a point between 0 and 1. So R is somewhere between 0 and 1. right? And the question is saying distance between P and Q and R. First of all, the thing is between -3 and -2. So we cannot include -3 or -2 for P, -1 and
A is
0.
greater.
Listen, we cannot consider the extreme values -1, 0, 1 for all of these because this is between. Okay, the next thing is, let's see several scenarios. Okay, first of all, if I consider P as, for example, very close to -2, for example, if I take 1 and Q as very close to -1, -0.9, and R is a bit far, very close to 1, that is 0.9. So what is the value for distance between PQ? And what is the distance between QR in this scenario? What is the distance between PQ?
0.3.
1.2,
1.2, and distance between QR?
0.9,
1.8.
sorry, 1.
1.8, right? So in this scenario, quantity B is greater. Now let's see the other scenario, and let's try to come up with a way in which we have quantity A greater and quantity B is less. How that is possible? If P is very close to -3 and Q is very close to 0. So for example, if I pick P as -2.9 and Q as -0.1 and R as 0.1. So what is the value of PQ? Distance between PQ? And what is the value or distance between QR? Quick.
1.8,
1.8 or 2.8?
2.8.
And what is the value for QR? 0.2.
0.2. Yes.
Now the quantity A is greater, right? That's why the answer this is D. Everyone got the point? This is simply testing the concept of maximum and minimum. How we can, remember for the quantity comparison question, always try to prove D first. In case if you fail, then move for other A, B, or C. In exam, most of the time the answer would be D. Okay, so shall I move forward or is there any confusion till now?
Please proceed.
Okay, someone write. Bilal, what you are saying? I'm not exactly getting what you are saying.
No, I said you can go forward.
Someone just write something in the chat box and asking what exactly he's saying. Okay, so answer to this is D, right? Okay, let's move forward.
So he is saying that where the answer are written, whether it is A, B, C, or D.
Okay, try this question. For which question the answer? You are asking about which question? You have discussed 3 questions till now.
I think he is not sure. He is not sure about A, B, C, D.
All of this. Okay, we will discuss the first 3 questions in the end as well. Okay, so just by saying what is the answer, be quick.
D.
D. Wow. Any other? Okay, we have 4 options. A, B, C, and D. A mean the quantity A is greater. B mean quantity B is greater. C mean both of these quantities are equal. And D means there could be multiple scenarios. We are not sure whether quantity A is greater or quantity B is greater. Right? This is the scenarios for the quantity comparison question. whether A is greater, whether B is greater, whether both are equal, or we are unsure whether A is greater or B is greater. In that case, the answer is D. Okay, so what is the answer for this?
D.
D. Okay, anyone else? This is a very simple question. You shouldn't take.
Answer
What is the answer?
D.
D. Okay. A tip for the quantity comparison question. Whenever you got a quantity comparison question, or you are dealing with the arithmetic operations where addition or subtraction or multiplication, try to simplify first. First quantity we have P minus Q, and second quantity we have P minus R. And remember, these are two sides of inequality, and we are unsure what is the sign of inequality. But we can perform addition and subtraction. So can we subtract P from both sides? P will cancel out, and we are left with
Yes.
minus Q and minus R. Now, if I add R on both sides, this will become 0, and this will become R minus Q. And if I just add Q on both sides, this will be R minus Q plus Q, and this will be Q. So quantity A is R and quantity B is Q. Now can you quickly tell what is the answer?
G.
The question is
Q.
saying that P is to the right of Q. This is Q, P is to the right, and P is to the left of R. Now, R is greater than P. That's why the answer, this is A. Got the point? So in such scenarios involving the arithmetic operations, always try to simplify first. And straightforward, if you start putting values in this will be a very lengthy question. To always try to simplify the both of quantities first and then proceed further. Shall I move forward now?
What is the answer for this question?
Is A.
Okay.
Okay. This is a very good question. Try this question. Let's take 2 minutes for this question. Okay, so one answer is 21. Any other?
Wait.
Distance formula? No, this is exactly the same question
19.
which we discussed as in the first question, but we are having more than 3 variables. We are having
Is it
4
19?
variables. Okay, is anyone solving, or shall we solve this now?
19.
19.
One.
See.
1.
Okay, 1. Shall we solve this now? Okay, so better solve in this. The distance between x and y is 10. Between x and y is 10. And the distance between z and w is 7. And the distance between y and z is 4. Okay, what is the minimum distance between x and w? Okay, so first start with x and y.
Middle one is Z and W.
Which part?
The 7 distance, that is Z and W.
Z and w. Okay, yes. 1. Yes, 1. Okay, so we have x and we have y. The distance between x and y is 10. First thing. Okay. Now the distance between z and w is 7. Just leave this. Move to the last one. Distance between y and z is 4. Okay, so there could be two scenarios. Let's see to both of these scenarios. If z is on the right side of y and distance between is 4. The last thing is the distance between z and w is 7. And in this question, okay, let's see all of the scenarios to build a concept. If z on the right side of w is on the right side of the z, so what is the value? This is 7. Now the question actually asks what is the minimum value for x and w? What is the value for x and w in this scenario?
So 21, that is maximum.
21.
That is
But
21.
minimum is 3. Minimum is 7.
Okay, let's see the other scenario. Okay, so this is x, this is y, this is z. And if I consider w on the left side of z, this is actually 4, this is 10. Okay, so w must lie on the
3.
left side of this thing. So if this is 7, what
4,
is
3, 7. 7.
this is also 7. So in this scenario, the distance between x and w is 7. This is another scenario. Now let's see the third scenario. If this is x, this is y, and if I consider z on the left side of the y, right, on this side, and at first the distance between x and y is 10, and distance between y and z is 4. Okay, and the last thing was z and w. What is the distance between z and w? That is 7, right? And actually we want to minimize the distance. So if I consider w on this side and this is 7, so what is the value of the distance between now x and w?
One.
That is 1. So I just showed you there are more scenarios as well. If you want to check, if you consider y on the other side, w on the other side, that in that case the distance between x and w is not least. So only least distance in all of the scenarios between x and w is 1, right? That's how there could be multiple scenarios as well. I haven't got this.
Can you explain the last part?
Can you repeat your point?
Could you explain the last part?
This one?
Yes, this one.
Okay, so we are given that the distance between, okay, distance between x and y is z is 10, right? The first thing, this
10.
is 10. And the distance between y and z is 4. And I just, for time, we can assume that z is on the left side of y.
Okay,
So
got
this
it.
is 4.
Got it.
So this will become
Got it.
6. And the actual distance between z and w is 7. So if I assume that on the
Yes,
left
got
side, this will came out to be 1, which is the required answer. Got the point?
Yes, good. Yes.
Okay. Try this question. Just quickly solve just by seeing, just by visualization. This is a very easy question. Try to perform mental math on these type of questions instead of solving all of these questions. So what's the answer to these questions?
All can be true. All, like A, B, C, D, E.
Exactly. The question is saying that, first of all, this is could be case, right? Just keep in mind whether that is could or that is must. Those are totally different scenarios. In could case, if the one scenario is possible, then you can just tick that option. But in must case, all of scenarios must be possible. But for time being, the question is about could case, right? The question is saying that on the number line, A and B are on the opposite side of 0, right? So there could be two scenarios. Either this is A, this is B, or either this is B, this is A, right? One thing is sure that one is positive and one is negative, right? Okay, just see first option, A and B will have opposite sign. Yes. The second is A plus B is greater than 0. As this is good case, we can just take a value. If this is 2 and this is -1. So their sum is positive. That's why this is positive. The third one is their product is less than 0. And yes, for a product less than 0 and negative, one has to be positive and one has to be negative. This is also true. Now, a third one is A square over B square is equal to 1. That is possible if their absolute value is same with different sign. For example, if A is 1 and B is -1. Vice versa, if B is 1 and A is -1. In both cases, this is possible. And the last one is absolute of A over absolute of B is equal to absolute of B over absolute of A. Just assume same. For example, if A is 4 and B is -4, just substitute in this. This is also possible. That's why, considering the could be case, all of these are possible. But if I just quickly change the question, instead of could, must be, then what is the possible answer now? If this is must.
A.
A and C.
What
Yes,
did you
C.
say?
I'm saying
Yeah,
if
C.
this is the must be case question, so both of these are having opposite sign, yes, and the product is less than 0. So only both of these are possible. This is not must case, this is not must, and this is not must. Okay, so now just quickly. Okay, so what's the answer to this question? Again, just solve by visualization. Don't go for the written solution. What is the answer to this? And one thing based on this question, in geometry, you cannot assume that I'm asking about 2D geometry, that whether that is exactly drawn to scale or not. But in this case, we can assume that this is exactly. Just by saying we can assume that A is a bit closer to 0 and B is a bit farther than 0. You can assume just by seeing these, right? Now try to solve this question.
A.
This is a multiple choice option question.
Okay.
Not one. Just take your time and see all of the options.
Only A.
All.
Only A.
Sorry,
Must be
C or
true.
D. A, B, D.
No. The option is must be true. So I think it can be more than one answer.
Yeah,
Okay,
option A.
so let's see different scenarios. The location of point A and B is shown on the number line above, right? So just by seeing that, we are pretty sure about one thing, that absolute distance between O and A is less than the absolute distance between O and B. Okay, so the other thing is, that's one thing. Okay, so the other thing is that C is the middle point of A and B. So C must lie somewhere between and on the left side of 0. Everyone agree on this point? So
No.
why? I told you earlier that you can assume just by seeing the figure of the, just by seeing in the number line, what is it, that is it exactly drawn. So this distance is less than this distance. So if you take the average C must be on the left side of 0. Right? Now see, which of the following must be true? C, this is C minus B is greater than 0. Just add B on both sides. This will become C is greater than B. Yes, this is always true. The next one is A into B into C is greater than 0. This is positive, and both of these are negative. So negative into negative is positive. The result is positive. That's why the quantity B is always true. The option B is always true. The third one is we have A cube into B square into C cube is less than 0, right? This is positive. A positive value scale is always positive, so positive. This is negative. Negative value, the even power of negative value is always positive. And the last one is negative value, odd power is always negative. So the product of these is negative. So this is always true as well. And the last one is
C cube is negative, right?
oh, yes, I just make a mistake here. Okay, so if I discuss this again, I just make a, okay, this is A is positive and this is negative and C is negative, right? And according to A cube, we have A cube into B square into C cube is less than 0. What is A cube? This is positive. What is B square? This is positive. And what is C cube? That is negative. Got the point? Because C is a negative value, and the odd power of negative values always result in a negative value. Both of these are positive, and this is a negative value, and their product is negative. So this is always true.
Actually, I didn't get the point why C is negative, because as far as I know, we can't assume
That
that.
is for geometry. Listen one thing, that is for geometry, especially 2D geometry. Not for this is not geometry. On the number line, you have to rely what is provided to you. But for geometry, you have to see various cases.
Okay, got it.
And the last one is A cube into B cube into C is greater than 0. Okay, so A is positive, this is positive. B is negative, and negative having an odd power is also negative, and C is already negative. So positive into negative is negative, and negative into negative is positive. That's why all of these are must be true. So is there any confusion for anyone in any of the option?
No, after being clear about the figure, it's clear to me.
Just remember, for the number line, it is always to the scale. But for geometry, we cannot assume that that is 2-bit scale unless specified in any case. Okay, so this is understood by all. C would be negative. Okay, shall I move forward now? Okay. Yes, try this question. And just keep in mind that these are evenly spaced. Each distance between each two consecutive ticks are same.
Yes, B.
So you are saying the answer is B. Anyone who is still solving? Okay, so multiple people are saying the answer is B. Now see closely what is asked in the question. The integers A, B, and C are evenly spaced. One thing, if C and D are equal to, if this is 5 power 12 and this is 5 power 13, what is the value of A? So you just assume that 5 power 13, 5 power 12, this is 5 power 11, this is 5 power 10, right? Which is totally wrong. The reason is this is 5 power 13 and this is 5 power 12. So what is the distance between these two? That is actually a difference between these 5 power 12 minus 13 minus 5 power 12,
5.
right? So this is 5 power 12. If you take common, this is 5 minus 1. So this is 4 into 5 power 12. So the distance between two consecutive tick is 4 into 5 power 12. And now for finding A, that will be for, if I consider as this is, let's suppose this is X, and this is X. So this distance will be 5 power 12 minus 2X, and this is X, right? So this will be 5 power 12 minus 2 into 8 into 5, 2 into 4 into 5 power 12. So this will be 5 power 12 minus 8 into 5 power 12. And if I take 5 power 12 common, so this will be 1 minus 8, which is equal to minus 7 into 5 power 12. That's why the answer, this is D, not B. Got the point? What exactly mistake you made here? These are exponents and their difference, the way you are treating 5 power 11, 5 power 10, the distance can never be same.
But in D, you have 5 power 13, not 12.
Yes. I just consider C as a reference for finding A. You can do D minus 3X. I just did C minus 2X. The result will be A in both scenarios. Got the point? I just solve for A based on C. You can also solve this 5 power 13 minus 3 into X. You will again come up with same value for A, which is D. Got this? Or you want me to do for D as well? Okay. Now let's move to the, okay, try this question. First of all, tell me one thing, whatever question I'm sharing in the group, in the PowerPoint file, whether you are solving those or not.
Yes.
Because I usually miss some of the questions during discussion. That is for you for practice, right? Okay, just you have 1 minute to solve this question.
E.
D,
D.
So what's the answer?
D for Delhi.
D. Yes, in such scenario, just come up with two cases and try to have the answer D. What are two cases? If I try to do this, I will do, for example, this is -2, this is -3, this is -4, this is -5 and -6 first scenario. In this, A into C is equal to what value? 24, and B into E is equal to minus 5 into minus 2, that is 10. So in that scenario, quantity A is greater. But if I take the values like 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, now AC is equal to, and BE is equal to, what is AC? That is 35. And what is BE? That is 54. That's why in this scenario, B is greater. So answer to this question is D. Right?
Right.
Okay. Yes, just solve this question. This is interesting question. So what's the answer to this question?
A.
A. Okay. Any other answer?
So it has to be one of the answer.
Yes. Just keep in mind R, S, T, U are the coordinates, some value. And R minus T is R value minus T value, not the distance between them. These two are different things, right? Now try to solve this. So what's the answer now?
A.
And any other answer? All of you go with A.
No, A can't be. Like there are cases where A will be.
I just give you one clue, that the clue is that this R minus T is not the distance between R and T, but the difference between value on R coordinate, value of R, and value on T, not the distance. That could be negative. For example, just to give you an idea, if this is R and this is T, so R minus T is positive. But if this is R and this is T, R minus T is negative, right? Now try to solve this question. No, B is not the answer. Okay, so let's solve this question. We are given that we have a number line, and first of all, R is greater than S. If this is R and this is S, first thing. And if S is halfway between R and T, if this is T, this means this distance is equal to this distance, first thing. Second thing is, T is halfway between R and U, right? So this distance will be equal to this distance. Now just assume values for UTSR. If I assume this as 0 and this as 1, this as 2, so this will be -2, right? Everyone is with me till now? Now just see all of the options. First of all, we have R minus T. What is R minus T? That is 2 minus 0. And what is S minus U? That is 1 minus -2. That will be 2 by 3. So first option is 2 by 3, which is not equal to 1. The next option is R minus T. R minus T is equal to 2 minus 0 divided by U minus T. U is -2 and T is what? T is 0, right? So this will be 2 over -2, which is equal to -1. And that is actually the trap answer. And if you're assuming this as distance, then quantity B and quantity E are equal, but this is not distance. This is difference between these two coordinates. This is also out. Third one is S minus T. S minus T is 1 and U minus T. U minus T is -2. That will be -1 by 2. S minus T is 1 and R minus U. Oh, sorry. S minus T is 1 and R minus U is 4. So third one is 1 over 4 is also not possible. Next one is U minus T, which is -2 divided by R minus S. That is 1. So this is also not possible. And the last one is U minus T. And what is U minus T? That is -2. And one is what is T minus R? That is also -2. So that equals to 1. Got the point? Even got the point? What is the trap here?
Yes, got you.
So never assume this subtraction as a distance unless specify that distance between R and T. If this is distance, then you can assume that B and E are same, but this is not distance. This is a difference between them. Okay. So we'll solve just 2 more questions. Yeah, just quickly solve this question. This won't take more than 30 seconds for you to solve this.
See,
See,
So you are saying C, which is wrong. Any other answer?
B,
D, D.
D?
B, 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 B for bottle.
D or B?
B, B.
A.
Okay, we have A, we have B, and I think we have D as well. Okay,
B, B.
now tell me one thing. For absolute value, is A minus B is equal to B minus A?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, right. This means we have X minus 5 minus A minus B as first quantity, and second quantity is B minus A minus 5 minus X. To just make a thing better, we can write this as X minus 5 minus A minus B, and other quantity is A minus B mod minus X minus 5. If I add X minus 5 on both sides, if I add A minus B plus X minus 5 on both sides, So first quantity will become 2 into x minus 5, and second quantity will become 2 into a minus b. Just divide by 2 on both sides. This will become x minus 5, and this will become a minus b, right? First thing. Now we have just need to compare x minus 5 and a minus b. Now if you see the number line, this is x and this is 5. So x is between v and 10. This means the distance of x and 5 must be less than 5, because if distance between 5 and 10 is 5 and x is somewhere on the left side of 10, so this distance must be less than 5.
Yes.
And we have a minus b, and now see b is, if this distance is 5 and b is on the right side and a is on the left side, so this distance has to be greater than 5.
Yes, at least greater than 5.
That's why the quantity b is greater. Anyone got the point? Quantity a has to be less than 5 and quantity b has to be greater than 5. Shall I move forward to last question? Okay, the simplification part. And just do one way. At first I told you that a minus b is equal to absolute b minus a, right? So I just make this as x minus 5 and make this as a minus b, right? Just for simplification, if I assume this total as x and this total as y, so we have x minus y in first scenario and we have y minus x on second, and I just add x plus y on both sides, right? So this will become 2x and this will become 2y, and just divide by 2 on both sides. This is x and this is y, and x is what I said, x minus 5, and y is just a minus b. I just assume this to make things a bit better, right? You got the point? Okay. Now just last question, and a very tricky question. Just solve this question. If you're able to solve this question right, you are very much comfortable with this number line concept. Just quickly solve this question now. Okay, so what is the possible answer for this question? Anyone is able to crack this question out? Shall I solve this question? I shall be left this for your homework.
E or D?
What's the answer?
Multiple answer or one answer?
Yeah, you could have multiple answer in case that is. Okay, so let's quickly solve this question. What we are given that on the number line.
So answer B.
Okay, so one answer is B. Let's see what's the answer. On the level line, W is greater than X. First thing is W is greater than X. Second thing is Y is midpoint between W and Z. We have W is Z and Y is in between. Okay, and X is twice as far from Z as it is from W. Okay, so let's first come up with the scenarios. First scenario is the question said that W is greater than X, right? And if I assume this as W and this as X, next thing is Y is midpoint of W and Z. Okay, just leave that. And X is twice as far from Z as it is from W. Okay, so everyone have got you what this statement means? X is twice as far from Z as it is from W. The distance between X and Z is twice of the distance between X and W.
Yes.
Okay, so if I consider Z here, so whatever distance between here, that will be half of a distance between here. If I consider this as 2A, so this will be 4A. And next thing is Y is midpoint of W and Z. And Y is midpoint of W and Z. So this is A, and this is 2A. This is first scenario. And just quickly assume some values for these. Again, if this is 0, W is 0, and Y is 1, Z is 2, and X is -2, right? So question is saying that W minus Y divided by Z minus X. So what is W minus Y? W minus Y, that will be 0 minus 1, and Z minus X. Z minus X, that will be 2 minus into -2. That will be -1/4. This is first possible scenario. I haven't got this. Shall I move to the other scenario? Okay, so this was first scenario. The other scenario is, first of all, W is greater than X, right? If this is W, this is X. And the next thing is, Z is twice as far from, X is twice as far from Z as it is from W, right? So if this is Z and this is 2A, so this will be A. The distance between X and Z is twice as the distance between X and W. And the last thing is, Y is between W and Z, right? So if this total is 3A, so what is the value of Y? Y will be somewhere between at 3A over 2. And if I assume some values, Z as 0, and this X as 2, and W as 3, so Y will be equal to 3/2, or 1.5. This is Z, this is Y, this is X, and this is W. Now the question, what the question said that W minus Y over Z minus X. So what is W minus Y? That is 3/2, 1.5. And what is Z minus X? That is -2, right? So the answer will be 3 over minus 3 over 2 into 2, which is minus 3 by 4. And minus 3 or 4 is not possible given answer. So the only given answer which is possible is B, minus 1 over 4. So everyone got this? You just have to see multiple scenarios. And that's all for the number line. Is any confusion for anyone regarding the number line topic? If you are able to solve all of these questions, actually you won't need to practice anymore, even for the number line. That's all how the number line, the concept of relative distance could be asked in exam. And again, I'm repeating on one thing, that it is on the number line. And if a question only say that distance between, let's suppose A and B is 2. So if this is A and distance between A and B is 2, so it is a circle with radius 2 and B could be anywhere, unless the question mentioned that this is on the number line. Just keep in mind these two differences, right? Okay, so no question for now.